Hello, hello Aries. Welcome to your February 2019 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Aries. And if you can't already tell, these months' readings are going to be a bit different, where I'm just using 10 cards from whichever deck I feel is best for you, and then I'm just kind of going to be doing a free form spread. This is not a structured reading. I'm just picking 10 cards. So go ahead, notice your body, anything that wants to come up today, just notice it, and let's do this. All right, let's start with the truth bomb, shall we? What's coming up? Bliss isn't something you work for, it's something you follow. And this is actually encouraging you to focus less on pushing and forcing and more on allowing things to flow and allowing your intuition to just kind of naturally guide you. If that's something you haven't been paying attention to or something you haven't been noticing, this is the month to do that, to get a little bit more in touch with it. Now, one of the big things that you're probably going to want to do is give yourself plenty of time for rest, relaxation, solitude, and just giving yourself a little bit of space. Okay, now let me see what's coming up here. I might stop before I finish pulling them all, but let's just see how this is starting off. We have the Ace of Pentacles, so initiation, new opportunities coming through. Now, whether or not that's one that you initiate or something you call into your space, that's going to be up to you. Then we have the Page of Cups, so vulnerability is definitely a theme here. We also have the Three of Wands, so focusing on what you're planting next, what you're building on your plot of land, as I like to call it. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Foundation is going to be really huge. That's coming from you looking out and forecasting what exactly you want to have pop up. And then we also have the Four of Wands, and this is home-based. So it looks like the focus for you is probably going to be primarily on creating long-term sustainable comfort for yourself. Because the Four of Wands on the cap here is really highlighting the fact that this needs to be from a space that's going to nourish you. And that's something that we can get derailed sometimes and start going down a path or taking a track that isn't comfortable, or something that is now I want to highlight here that your body's designed to stay in comfort even if those situations aren't healthy. So I just wanted to make that distinction there, but ultimately you want to be in a space that is really supportive for your well-being. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to comfort. And so it looks like that's something that really has your attention and has your focus, and I think you're probably taking steps to get there. But the two things that are going to make this possible, because it looks like the Ten of Pentacles and the Four of Wands, this is the goal. Okay, so this seems to be the focus for you. The Ace of Pentacles and the Page of Cups, this is where you're starting now. This is just how this reading is showing up for you. And then the Three of Wands is what you need to do. So it's kind of like you want to look at what you have to work with, where you want to go long term, kind of look out a little bit farther. That's what this card wants you to do. And then the Ace of Pentacles is showing what actions are you taking or what types of manifesting are you doing, because taking action doesn't mean always pounding the pavement, right? It can also mean making the right connections, networking more. It can be asking the right questions. It can be finding yourself in the right venues or opening yourself up to different possibilities. And that's what taking action might look like for you. It's not always directly related. It can come up in a lot of different ways. And then the Page of Cups, the other thing you want to balance that out with is constantly checking in with yourself and asking yourself if you're doing things that you actually want. So if you aren't tuned in with your body, it's going to be really hard for you to move in a direction that's really in alignment with you, because you're going to be putting your feelings, thoughts, and desires on the back burner and just focusing on exclusively being goal oriented, or you might be at risk of falling a little bit too much into meeting a material goal that may or may not actually give you the type of fulfillment that you're looking for. So the Page of Cups just wants you to evaluate, are you really in alignment with the things that you're working towards? Or is that something where you might want to adjust where you're going a little bit, and it might bring you more fulfillment? Let's see what else is coming up. We have the Eight of Wands. Okay, and then we have the Five of Cups. Death. Eight of Cups. Okay, here we go. And then we have the Queen of Cups. So what you have to do here is, it seems like there's probably some information that you've forgotten, right? So the way you can think about it is, when you come onto Earth, like when you're born, you forget everything. And the reason why you're here is basically to remember how to achieve or accomplish certain things. It can be remembering how to love yourself, remembering how to manifest money, remembering how to tap into abundance, whatever that looks like. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you may remember, you may not remember. But really, it looks like the meat and potatoes of this month is really going to come from you finding your flow, figuring out where the discomfort lives, because the Five of Cups is the discomfort, death is the release or the shedding of that skin, and the Eight of Cups is changing your perspective around that thing that you may have had a block or an obstacle against, or just something that may have been getting in your way. Because the Eight of Wands is all about flow and moving at a fast pace. But remember, if you have a whole bunch of things that are clogging the pipes, that aren't allowing flow, that aren't putting you in a position where you are able to do that, then this is where you actually want to start. Is, how do you feel confined? How do you feel like you're stuck? How do you feel like you aren't able to move forward, and what is that coming from? So you really have to look at what is the foundational belief that you're working with, and what do you need to dismantle. That's basically what this is encouraging you to do, because the emotional side of things, you have a whole bunch of potential that you could be working with this month. That's the Queen of Cups. You could have a totally new insight, new clarity, new awareness around the actions that you're taking, how they're aligned with you, and how to shift all of those blocks, obstacles, and anything else that's in your way. You can shift all of those out this month. But it is going to take a lot of awareness and staying in your body and paying attention to what is and isn't coming up for you at this time. Let me see what's at the bottom of your deck. We have the Knight of Pentacles. So I really want to caution you, like, it might be a little bit dangerous to sink into an idea that, you know, all you have to do is just endure, or things having to be a struggle, or things having to be really difficult in order for you to get what you want. That is not the case here. Things can be as easy or as difficult as you would like them to be. That's why there's so much push for like mindset stuff and being able to have healthy coping mechanisms and things like that. There's a reason why so many people push that. It's because you don't want to get stuck in an idea that things have to be crappy all the time, or that they have to be hard when they really don't need to. So remember that is within your control. some people have, if we were to place a judgment value, you could say that some people have harder lives than others. But at the end of the day, when you're thinking about the collective or the macro, we do have equal opportunity to change for the better. That's something that you always have, no matter what situation, no matter what state you're in. So don't forget the potential and opportunity that you have to lead a better life, no matter what your financial situation is, no matter what your family situation is. Those are all things that you can work on and improve. So you don't have to just like white knuckle it, or some of the stories around your work ethic or how difficult things need to be might be a little bit off. So I would just start exploring those if you feel like you're hustling and not making progress. It might be that you're telling yourself a story about how you have to work hard, you have to suffer and bleed yourself dry in order to experience success in some capacity. Okay, let's pull some oracle cards. And this, I also want to call your attention back to the very first card, which is bliss isn't something you work for, it's something you follow. And so that's kind of tying all of this together. And then I have purge, the belief systems, the things that are making you feel stuck, or the stories that you're telling yourself around how much success you can or cannot have. Those are the things that you want to address this month. You got to purge them. The death card is the most important one in this reading because it's showing you that something has to go. Something has to be released and shed and pushed out. Okay, then we have wonder. It's a wonderful thing to be in a state of wonder. And when I'm a good audience to my life becomes better and better theater. When something delightful happens, I can shout encore and be tickled when it happens again. When something maddening happens, I can laugh it off. Either way, I'm glad I got a ticket to the show. And this is what I was kind of alluding to with value judgments not necessarily being accurate. You know, everyone's subjective experience is different. There's no way to like quantify whether or not you're having a good life or a bad life. It's just whatever you're labeling it as. And so if you can kind of zoom out a little bit and just be in a space where you're watching yourself rather than over identifying with some of the negative experiences that you've had, you can actually start to loosen things up a little bit more and give yourself more breathing room. Okay, let's pull some of these. See what else is going on for you this month. Solar plexus chakra. Okay. If you are feeling burnt out, if you are feeling like you're burning the candle at both ends, you're burning out your third chakra. So for those of you who work with me, I'm sure we've done some work on that. If you struggle with burnout, fatigue, exhaustion, feeling like you're wading through mud, it's all solar plexus, because your third chakra is your engine, that is your motor, that's how you exert your will. And if this is out of whack, if this is all out of balance and it's not being taken care of, you're going to have a really hard time getting things done. So that is where to focus your attention, because a lot of work is being done in the third chakra this month, and it's up to you what you want to do with that. So make sure you're taking good care of yourself and not forcing and overworking this month. Okay, this also, if your third chakra is, if there's anything yucky in there, it can also make you feel like you're totally out of control, like you're powerless and you don't have any control over the state of your life, which that's not true, but if there's like an attachment there or something like that, it can have that effect. So just if you're wondering why you're in a funk or something like that, I would say focus on the third chakra, or I mean, you can get an energy check with me if you want. So Let's see what else we have. Sun's rays. All right. I think that this is really showing you how much good there is in your space. There is always something good going on. Even if you're having a terrible time, there's always something that you can focus on that is going well. And so this is encouraging you to look at and practice gratitude, the things that you can be really thankful for at this time, because it looks like that's also going to be a source of motivation for you and inspiration. I also have spiritual suffering. So suffering is not, it's not necessary, right? Like I like to think about spiritual suffering as something has festered. So if you're suffering, then something is festering. There's an emotional experience that you're having that it has gone unnurtured and untended to. It's not something that's a permanent state. It's something that needs to be addressed. And it's up to you what you do with that energetically and where it goes after that. So just make sure, again, take care of yourself. Constantly tune in with yourself and check in. Are you making decisions that are really in alignment with you? I'm going to pull one more of these. We have sensual expression. The way I like to think about this card is by focusing on things that make you feel really nourished and that make you feel really taken care of. And that can be bubble baths, good meals. It can be something experiential like that, but you want to focus on your senses. So sight, sound, taste, touch. What are you doing that's really getting your senses going? And that can be a great way to re-energize yourself. Now I'm going to do a 3-card pick. So you're welcome to notice which one is really calling to you. You're welcome to notice card 1, 2, or 3. If there's a number that jumps out at you, you can go with that one. Pick as few or as many cards as you want. This is just for you. You can ask a question. Okay, card number 1. We have the 5 of Cups. Beware of, like, if you're zooming in too closely on the things that aren't going well, you will not be able to see the things that are going well. This is why you want to focus on gratitude, focus on where you are going. That's the best way to figure out solutions, is to focus on where you're going and then allow answers to come in. But it's, you know, just because one thing doesn't work out or one thing went wrong or there was one hiccup doesn't mean everything is falling apart. It just means that one thing went wrong. Like, that's all that it means. So don't over-identify with one thing going wrong. Card number 2, we have the, this is technically the Page of Swords. So fresh ideas, new thoughts. This is a great time to take action on your ideas as well. So if something has been, if you've been pondering something or kind of considering, you know, doing something, this is going to be the month to start feeling into the contours of that. And then card number 3, we have the 4 of Swords. Take rest, relax, allow yourself to take a break however you can, whether it be 5 minutes or 5 hours. Just find a way to decompress and take some time for yourself. It's kind of like you want to make this a non-negotiable and call in whatever resources you need to make this happen. Even if you were to like pray or something, pray for a lighter schedule, pray for, you know, to get a break. You know, that's something you can always do, and you'll magically watch your schedule clear up or things start coming in a little bit easier. So don't forget, you can also ask for things to be easy. Okay, Aries, that is all that I have for you today. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this reading as much as I've enjoyed reading for you. It's going to be a solid February. Make sure you capitalize on the energies that you're working with. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, don't forget I am an intuitive counselor, so I'm a psychic and I do cold readings. If you want to work with me, all of the links are in the description box. If you want weekly sign-specific readings or the love and relationship readings, those are on Patreon. So the link is in the description for that as well. And until next time, have a beautiful rest of January and February whenever you are watching this, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.